let's make it short. I tend to ran on. I don't want to ran on this. Primabone, expensive steroid that goes well with testosterone, right? Balances things out, keeps your estrogen low. Well, guess what? You can't get it, or it's super expensive. You know, maybe if you're like rich, you could afford it, but nobody else can really afford Primabone right now. Yes, there is an alternative, a cheap alternative. It's on every supplement store's shelves, you know, online. There's Epiandro, androsterone, which is a natural steroid, not synthetic like Primabone, but a natural steroid in your body, which you have a little bit of. But if you increase that, that activates your testosterone and your DHT receptors. That's the same thing. One Andro does the same thing. I used to buy One Andros, but they don't sell anymore. And he'll tell you here's why. My testosterone, you know, when it gets fairly high, like 1,000 or higher, you know, which, you know, I'm trying to, because I'm, you know, trying to, like, you know, add some muscle, whatever. I get impotent. It's just a fact. It's like, it's just too much estrogen or something. Probably estrogen. It's just a hormonal imbalance. Okay? That's why I was taking the One Andro. They don't have One Andro anymore. It's gone. You know, it's off the shelves. You know, I don't know why, but every company that make it, bing, went out of business. So I bought this right here. Now, yeah, I was experiencing, because right now I'm taking like 350, 400 testosterone. You know, just like I said, for cycle. And I'm not completely, but pretty impotent. You know, and it's like, wow, that sucks. And I took this. I was like, last night I was like, whoa, yeah. It's just like one pill. I was like, wow, that brings. So that's how much of a difference it makes. Just taking one of those, you know, can just like, you know, balance your hormones right out. Because it's a DHT derivative, activates that DHT. You get the DHT going, boom, your estrogen goes down. You know, things start working again. You know, you don't need like 3 hookers, you know, coming over in a cab, you know, to help you out. So yeah, and it's you know, it's pretty cheap. It's only $50 a bottle or less usually. I got a 45 this time shipped. It was pretty cheap. 90 pills, 250 milligrams. Probably 2 pills you need. So 45-day supply for less than $50. It works just like Primabone. It's dry, you know. It's not wet. It's gonna balance out your hormones. You know, if you got hairline issues though, like you're worried about your hair, you might want to take something to prevent, you know, losing hair. And if you're older like me, DHT derivatives, things that increase your DHT will prevent prostate cancer. These are facts, and that's not me my bullshit. This is scientific research has shown that when the prostate has high levels of DHT, it is impossible for it to get prostate cancer. Prostate cancer cannot even enter in it. It cannot take over. It cannot fucking grow a cell. It can't do anything in the prostate when DHT is present in moderate to high levels. So think about that. Get your DHT up, my friends. Yeah. And like I said, unless you got access to Primo, I don't know. I'm just an alternative. I've had people say, and I think a lot of people are not aware of this. Travis Dillon, message goes out to him because he's talking about pro hormones all the time, and I pointed this out to him about the DHC thing, And I've told this to Bigger Steve, but Steve's like, "Oh no, you don't need it." But I'm telling you, he's wrong because I followed his advice. He gives good advice. Don't get me wrong, but about the testosterone, I took all the supplements, and I still got it. So I took this, and boom, one pill, and it's gone. Back to where things should be working. So I don't have access to Primo. If I had access to Primo, I'd say okay, but I don't. It's too expensive. So there we go. Does this affect you? The worst thing I've ever gotten from a pro hormone is a mild case of diarrhea. In my case, it's not really such a bad thing to get a little loose bowel movement but that's another story. Let's not go there. So, that's all I got to say. I'm just saying that this is, I'm not promoting high-tech pharmaceuticals, dimethazane, which is a pretty good deal because they give you 90 pills. But, Epiandro is not a bad substance. It's been, given a bad name by people who don't seem to know anything about it. It's a natural steroid in your body that increases testosterone and DHT in moderate levels on the testosterone. It's not like a super strong drug. If you took like 3 of these, you would see some gains in the gym. 2 is just going to kind of balance things out and give you a little bit of a boost. But 3, you'll start to see like you might gain a few pounds of muscle. But it's not really meant as like a big muscle builder though. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a, you can use it as a finisher because it's dry, but mainly using it as a supplement to balance your hormones and make testosterone work better. That's about it. But it's not expensive and it's totally worth it. It's not much more expensive than most supplements. So that's all I got to say about dimethazine and high-tech pharmaceuticals. But any Epiandro will work, or even one andro if you can get it. But yeah, epiandrosterone is the actual substance. Look it up. You don't believe me. That's all I got to say today.